Uh, Good afternoon, friends. Thank you for coming for this briefing this afternoon. As you know that Honorable President would be on a state visit to Seychelles and South Africa. Secretary West has kindly agreed to come here and brief you on this visit. We also have on the dais Mr. Ravi Bangar, Joint Secretary, ENSA, who is looking after both these countries. As usual, Secretary will make short opening remarks, after which he will take questions on the visits which you may have. And in case if there is any questions on any other issues, that we will take after the briefing for South Africa and Seychelles is over by spokesperson Mr. JSXP. So I would hand over the floor to Secretary West to make his opening remarks.
Thank you, Silas. Good afternoon, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, and my colleagues, Ravi Bangar, I should say Silas Bangar, and then go on to Syed Akbaruddin, who was hiding himself and having a jolly good laugh from behind the scenes. So Akbar, we should say, calling from the media today. Well, as all of you are aware, the Honorable President of India will be paying a state visit to the Republic of Seychelles from April 30 to May 1, 2012. The President thereafter will pay a state visit to the Republic of South Africa from May 1 to 7, 2012. The invitations to both Seychelles and South Africa are in response to the gracious invitations extended by the Seychelles and South African Presidents to the Honorable President of India to pay a state visit to their countries. The members of the delegation accompanying the Honorable President are Shri Sachin Pilot, Honorable Minister of State for Communications and Information Technology, Dr. Prabha Thakur, Honorable Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha, and Shri Sanjay Shamrao Dhotre, Honorable Member of Parliament Lok Sabha, will accompany the Honorable President of India during a state visit to Seychelles and South Africa. Senior officials, including the Secretary to President Dr. Christy Fernandez and Secretary West MEA, will form a part of the delegation, which will also include other senior officials, business leaders, and members of the media. While in Seychelles, the President will have a bilateral meeting with President James Alex Michel, during which various aspects of bilateral, regional and international issues are expected to be discussed. The Vice President of Seychelles, Mr. Danny Fowler, and other members of the Cabinet in the Government of the Republic of Seychelles will call on the Honorable President. The President will address a special session of the National Assembly. This will be followed by a call on the President by the Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable David Pierre. President Michel will host a cocktail dînatoire in honor of the President. The other engagements of the President in Seychelles include an address to the India-Seychelles Business Forum and attending a reception hosted by the High Commissioner of India for the Indian community and Seychelles friends. She will also visit the Seychelles People's Defence Force, where she will be received by the Chief of the Seychelles Defence Force and interact with Indian naval officers. The President will leave Seychelles for South Africa in the forenoon of May 1, 2012. While in South Africa, the President will meet President Jacob Zuma in Pretoria and hold discussions with him in bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. The Deputy President of South Africa, Mr. Kgalama Motlanthe, will call on the President. President Zuma will host a state banquet in honor of the President. The President will visit Johannesburg on May 3, 2012 and unveil a bust of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, at the Constitution Hill. She will visit number 4 prison, where Mahatma Gandhi was incarcerated by the apartheid regime and where Nelson Mandela was also there later. She will return back to Pretoria and address the India-South Africa Business Forum meet. The President will visit Cape Town on May 4-5, 2012, where she will meet a team of South African parliamentarians led by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Matt Sisulu, and Chairman of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Manglan. The President is expected to visit Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela had been imprisoned in cell number 5. From Cape Town, the President will visit Durban on May 6-7, 2012. She will visit the Phoenix settlement, offer floral tribute at the bust of Mahatma Gandhi, and visit thereafter the John Dubey Memorial. The President will also visit the Pietermaritzburg station, which has a historic link to India, wherein Mahatma Gandhi had been thrown out of a first-class compartment onto the platform by then apartheid regime. The President will attend a reception hosted by the High Commissioner of India for the Indian community and Friends of India in South Africa. She will meet representatives of the Gandhi committees in South Africa. As mentioned earlier, the President will be accompanied by a business delegation. 41 business persons will form a part of the business delegation to Seychelles, and 54 business persons will be similarly represented in South Africa. The business component of the visit is being coordinated by ASSOCHAM, FICCI and CII, and members of the delegation are drawn from the three chambers. The leader of the business delegation is former Ambassador V.B. Soni, the chairman of the Overseas Infrastructure Alliance India Private Limited. Relations between India and Seychelles have been close and friendly and characterized by full mutual understanding and close cooperation. Diplomatic ties with Seychelles were established on its independence in June 1976. India set up its resident High Commission in Victoria in 1987, while Seychelles did so in New Delhi in 2008. The President of Seychelles, Mr. James Alex Michel, was on a state visit to India in June 2010. He had earlier been on a similar state visit in 2005, and he had thereafter been on 2 visits to India to attend the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit. The only presidential visit from India so far to Seychelles till now had been that by late President Shri R. Venkataraman in 1989. President Michel's visit to India had been followed by that of the Seychelles Foreign Minister, Mr. Jean-Paul Adam, in February 2011. India was in the forefront of the anti-apartheid struggle. It was the first country to sever trade relations with South Africa in 1946, even before it became independent. Relations between India and South Africa were restored in 1993, and the Indian High Commission in Pretoria opened in 1994. The ANC had maintained a representative office in India since the 1960s, which was thereafter upgraded to a High Commission following the end of apartheid. India's relations with South Africa are close and friendly, enjoined by a strategic partnership. President Zuma of South Africa was on a state visit to India in June 2010, in what was his first bilateral visit to any Asian country. He was recently in New Delhi on March 29 for the 4th BRICS Summit. Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and Mr. Jacob Zuma had met more than once last year on the margins of various multilateral and plurilateral summits, and their friendship has become stronger in all these meetings. Trade and economic relations between India and Seychelles has not realized its full potential. Bilateral trade in 2010-11 was $40.44 million, with India's exports to Seychelles being $31.14 million and imports $9.29 million. The current composition of major items of export from India to Seychelles includes food products, grains, pharmaceuticals, and textiles. The major export items from Seychelles include copra, cinnamon, and related items. Potential areas of cooperation with Seychelles in the trade and investment area include those in the sectors relating to tourism, including the hospitality sector, healthcare, information and communication technology, food processing, financial services, renewable energy, engineering and electrical goods, textiles, and others. Being an island archipelago, fishing and related industry offers considerable potential and promise. As a country with some of the best tourism resorts, the tourism and hospitality sector offers significant opportunities. The film industry has been naturally attracted to Seychelles because of some excellent locales, and some films in Hindi and the regional languages have been shot there. The medical industry provides a useful entry point in the absence of adequate medical facilities. Indian investments in Seychelles thus far have included those by the Bharti Telecom Group, the TCIL, LPG facilities by B&H Tank Farm Pune, Polaris's venture to develop banking services, and supply of Tata and Ashok Leyland buses. India has extended lines of credit worth around $25 million to Seychelles since 2000. During the visit of President James Alex Michel to India in June 2010, a line of credit of $10 million was announced. Bilateral trade between India and South Africa was $11.125 billion in 2010-11, of which imports were $7 billion and exports $3 billion. During the state visit of President Zuma in June 2010, both sides had agreed that the bilateral trade turnover would reach $12 billion by 2012. But we have crossed that well before time, and the current target of trade turnover has been given as $15 billion by 2015. Main items of export include mineral fuel, mineral oil, engineering goods, textiles, gems and jewelry, chemicals, drugs and pharmaceuticals, among others. Insofar as imports from South Africa are concerned, gold forms an important part of our import, besides those from the extractive industry, including copper ores, concentrates, and other minerals and organic chemicals. Substantial potential for trade growth exists, with potential areas of cooperation seen in mining, manufacturing, the petroleum sector, drugs and pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, the automobile sector, food processing, information technology, and the SME sector. Major investors from India and South Africa include the Tata Group, the UB Group, Mahindra, Ranbaxy, Cipla, and other IT companies, besides investments in the mining sector. There is a growing South African interest in investing in India in the infrastructure, insurance, and financial services sector. The political-legal base for cooperation between India and Seychelles and South Africa is fairly strong. India offers slots to both Seychelles and South Africa under the India Technical and Economic Cooperation Program, that is ITEC. Around 520 Seychellois have so far availed of the opportunities under the ITEC program, with over 500 ITEC slots being used by South Africa. India has deputed a number of experts to Seychelles under the ITEC program. For the year 2011-12, 41 ITEC slots have been allocated to Seychelles and 108 ITEC slots to South Africa. Besides, India also offers specialized courses under the India-Africa Forum Summit to various African countries, including Seychelles and South Africa. Education has been an important area of cooperation between both India and Seychelles and South Africa. The number of tourists from India to Seychelles and South Africa and in the reverse direction has been quite significant. Cultural cooperation, providing for strong people-to-people interaction, has been quite vibrant between India and the two countries. The Indian community in Seychelles numbers around 6,500. The chairman of the Seychelles Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. V. Ramadas, is a Pravasi Bharatiya Samman awardee, and he is the medical advisor to the President of Seychelles. The Indian diaspora in South Africa celebrated the 150th year of its arrival into South Africa in the year 2010, having arrived there in 1860. The Indian origin community in South Africa numbers over 1.5 million. As in all visits of heads of states or government, the visit by the Hon'ble President of India to Seychelles and South Africa should provide a greater momentum and impetus in the further consolidation and development of our comprehensive, multifaceted engagement with these two countries. The visits are expected to provide a platform for an extensive exchange of views on bilateral, regional, and international issues of mutual interest. The presence of a business delegation will allow for greater B2B engagement, providing for expansion in trade, economic, and investment-related activity between India, Seychelles, and South Africa. The state visits will encourage greater people-to-people contact. The visits will naturally provide greater content and meaning to India's partnership with both Seychelles and South Africa. Thank you very much.
If you have any questions on this visit, Ranjit.
Any cooperation, new cooperation agreement with Seychelles, and also tell us about the present state of defense cooperation between India and
I think as the standard operating procedure, as all of you are aware, is that we don't announce agreements before the conclusion of the visit, because many agreements are in a state of discussion, and we sometimes have a surprise by adding a few. There are many surprises by deleting a few, because some of them are not ready. But we do expect some agreements to be signed in Seychelles. India has, of course, provided a Dornier aircraft to Seychelles in anticipation of, I think, Dornier aircraft to Seychelles. We have a maritime security advisor, a military advisor, and naval advisor, and we expect the strategic partnership between India and Seychelles to be further consolidated and strengthened in continuation of the President's visit.
Manish?
So with the situation in South Sudan, within the discussions among the international issues which will be discussed with presidents, also what is your reaction to the escalating confrontation between the two Sudans? Since we support Abu Dhabi initiative, would this be one of the important issues?
Thank you, Manish. That's a very relevant question, obviously, because South Africa plays a very, very prominent role on the African continent. And we expect every issue on the African continent to be discussed between the President and the South African host. And obviously, I think the situation in the Sudan will be touched upon, as also the situation in certain parts of West Africa. And the cooperation between India and Africa through the India-Africa Forum Summit. Of course, our view on Sudan is very clear. As you said, we support the African Union High Implementation Group led by Thabo Mbeki in trying to resolve the situation between Sudan and South Sudan. You're also aware that we had sent a special envoy not long ago in Additional Secretary TV, Mr. Amrendra Katua, visiting both Juba and Khartoum, and then touching base in Addis Ababa.
Thank you.
I want to know the latest about India and SACU PTA. It was being negotiated, it should have been signed by now, and the expectation was that India, SACU and Mercosur will expand our trade with Africa and America. What is the latest on that? Thank you.
Venkat, you have not forgotten the IPSA briefing, looks like it. I think yes, we have it with Mercosur, but with SACU, the point is that all the countries have not yet come on board, so we are going to request the South Africans to ensure that this is expedited, and we hope that, I think in this visit I don't think it will be concluded, but hopefully we should be following on the course towards its conclusion as early as possible.
In Seychelles, there's an obvious growing presence of China, and it's the consolidation of the ties between Seychelles and India, something to do with